Hi everyone, it's Miss Spillane. I'm here to do a read aloud with about Drums, Girls, and Dangerous Pie by Jordan Sonnenblick. I like this book. It's a piece of realistic fiction. The character is a middle school student whose family's turned a little bit upside down when his brother gets sick. So in the story, the jazz band is what kind of keeps him together and keeps him focused, so to say. So I'm going to read chapter 1 of this to you as a little teaser. Let's see what you think. Chapter 1 is called Dangerous Pie. It's about 12 pages long, okay? So Dangerous Pie. There's a beautiful girl to my left, another to my right. Hundreds of colored balloons are behind me, baking in the June sun. I'm wearing a brown gown that's sticking to my sweat-drenched skin, trying to keep my head straight so that my weird square cap doesn't fall off in front of the thousands of people who are watching me. And of course, because I'm me, I'm spacing out. The questions are just tumbling through my mind. How do I get up here? What have I learned since September? How could my life have possibly changed so much in only 10 months? I'm not sure even I understand the questions, much less where to begin looking for the answers. I guess a good starting point would be the longest journal I've ever written in English class. This was back in September, when I was pretty sure about life. The topic was the most annoying thing in the world. And we were supposed to write the usual one-page response to it. I sat there for a few minutes, staring at the back of Renee Albert, who's the hottest girl in the 8th grade, trying to concentrate. Unfortunately, all I could concentrate was on Renee Albert. Did I mention that she's the hottest girl in the 8th grade? Miss Palma is always going on and on about brainstorming and lists and pre-writing. So I started a list of truly annoying things. And he's got a bullet list in here. And he says, journal assignments, dull pencils, the pencil sharpener smell, Miss Palma's perfume. Why doesn't Renee Albert ever look at me? Being a skinny geek named Stephen. Just then, I realized that Miss Palma was standing behind me, reading over my shoulder. I guess that's why I was being swept away by her perfume. Thinking fast, I covered up my list. I turned to her and I asked, Miss Palma, can the journal be longer than a page? Sure, Stephen. Why? What are you thinking about creating here? Creating here? She actually said that? Don't English teachers just slay you? My mom is actually an English teacher, but that doesn't mean I don't find my own English teachers a bit odd. Well, I'm having trouble crafting my prose. Yeah, crafting my prose. Two can play this game. What's your topic? Remember what I always say. FFF stands for form follows function, don't you know? I want to write about a big topic, and it's not exactly a thing. It's, and then it hit me. The most annoying thing in my world is my little brother, Jeffrey. Wow, that's an ambitious topic. Go ahead. If you need extra time, feel free to take the project home tonight as well. Thanks, Miss Palma, a lot. Anyway, here's what I wrote. Having a brother is horrible. Having any brother would be horrible, I suppose, but having my particular brother, Jeffrey, is an unrelenting nightmare. It's not because he's 8 years younger than I am, although that's part of it. How would you like to be the king of the planet for 8 glorious years and then suddenly get demoted to vice king? It's not because he's cuter than I am, although that's part of it too. I have a mouse brown colicky hair, glasses that are about an inch thick, and braces that look like I could try to swallow a train wreck. He has those perfect little kid chiclet white teeth, 20/20 vision, and a little blonde ringlet, like the ones on the angels you see on the posters in art class. It's not even because he hates me. He doesn't. The truth is that he idolizes me. And that's the problem. The kid follows me around like I'm Elvis or something. And while he's being much too cute and following me around, he's also destroying all of my stuff, including my self-esteem and my sanity. Take, for example, the dangerous pie incident. Jeffrey has known from an early age that the worst possible thing he can do to me is touch my drum stuff. I have some rules about this. He may not play the drums. He may not pretend to play the cymbals, and he may not pretend the cymbals are shields like he is a knight. He may not hide in the bass drum, and pretty much any Jeffrey to do drumsticks contacts a massive no-no. But on one fateful afternoon last year, Jeffrey threw the rules out the window. On the tragic day, I came home, said hi to Mom, glugged down some milk, and headed down to the basement to practice. I was in a particularly good mood. I remember because Renee Alpert had told me in the PM homeroom that she liked my shirt. As this was such a grand occasion, I decided to take the special sticks down from their sacred perch and use them for my practice pad warm-up. In case you didn't know this, a practice pad is a thick, dense, flat piece of rubber. Usually it's glued onto a piece of wood. You practice playing drums on it because it feels a lot like playing on a real drum head. Anyhow, the special sticks would be just an ordinary pair of my favorite sticks, Regal Tip 5As with nylon tips, except that they've been autographed by my all-time drum hero, Carter Beauford of the Dave Matthews Band. I once saved up all my babysitting money for a couple of months, got 2 tickets to a drum clinic Carter Beauford was giving an hour and a half away in Philadelphia, and I begged my dad to take me for 2 weeks until he finally gave in. At the clinic, during what I like to think of as the 2 glorious minutes, Carter himself called me up front to demonstrate a double stroke roll. After I did it, he said I had nice technique, and he signed my sticks right there in front of a room full of drummers. So I'd spent quite a bit of blood, toil, and tears and sweat in order to get these special sticks. But the special sticks weren't on their shelf. Jeffrey! Ugh. I ran upstairs at top speed, hoping I would be in time, but knowing that the odds were stacked against me, I burst into the kitchen and found Jeffrey doing his cooking on the floor. Pots and pans were everywhere. Don't ask me how, but somehow I had noticed this on my way downstairs the first time. And Jeffrey was stirring some pretend concoction in the deepest pot of all with my special sticks. I advanced toward him with what must have been a disturbing gleam of violence in my eye. Jeffrey, give me the sticks! But I'm just cooking. Give me the sticks. But the dangerous pie isn't ready yet. I don't care about your stupid 4-year-old make-believe food. Give me the sticks. But this is real food, Jeffrey said. And it was. Jeffrey's dangerous pie was a zesty blend of coffee grounds, raw eggs, and their smashed shells, Coca-Cola, uncooked bacon, and 3 matchbook racing cars. The special sticks still smell funny to this day. Or maybe I should tell you about the Please Kill Me Mom affair. The fiasco happened at my all-city high school jazz band concert last June. Getting into the all-city band, it's a big, big deal, especially for a drummer, because there are 6 trumpeters, 5 sax, 4 trombones, etc., but only 2 drummers. It was even a bigger deal for me last year because I was the first 7th grade drummer ever admitted to an all-city high school band. They even had to send a special van to the middle school just to get me and this girl named Annette Watson, who's the backup piano player. She's actually really good, but there's this 12th grade guy who's been the main pianist since he was a freshman, and he's not about to get booted by a middle school girl in his senior year. She's funny, and she may be the only kid in the middle school who cares about music in the way that I do, but she's also kind of weird. It's like she's figured out how to play Beethoven, but hasn't quite mastered the art of being a girl yet. It's not easy being the youngest guy in the band, by the way. They make fun of me all the time about my age, my size, my braces, the way I stick out my tongue when I play. Also, everyone in the band has a cool nickname. When I first found this out at rehearsal, the other drummer, Brian, was telling me what to call all the different people. Who's that? That's the king. Who's he? The duke. Who's she? The princess. What do they call you? The count. What does that make me? How about the peasant? And the name stuck. Anyway, my whole family came to the concert and it was awesome. I had this huge drum feature and this Brian Setzer song called Jump, Jive, and Wail, and I nailed the whole thing. I usually practice at least an hour a day on my practice pad and another half hour on my drum set. Plus, I play in the marching band and the jazz group in school. And we had been rehearsing twice a week for All City for a couple of months. And I used to take lessons once a week, so I was playing great that night. So after the concert, my parents and Jeffrey came to the band room. They were all excited and everything, but Jeffrey was bouncing off the ceiling. You're a rock star, Stephen. No, I'm a jazz star, Jeffrey. My brother is a rock star. My brother's a rock star. Just then, Renee Albert stopped right next to us to congratulate her boyfriend. We'll just call him Biff, a sophomore guitarist with an alarmingly perfect complexion and muscles like Barry Bonds. Jeffrey saw Renee and started to whirl toward her. She lives around the corner from us, and I guess not even 4-year-olds are immune to her charm and her physique. It seemed to happen in slow motion. Events were just crawling, yet still, I knew I would never have time to run across town to the local zoo, steal an elephant tranquilizer gun, run back and fire it into Jeffrey's buttock before he could blurt out something that would mortify me and destroy my social status forever. Life snapped back into full speed, and Jeffrey shouted, "Hey, Renee, my brother is a rock star." As Biff looked on with a sneer, Renee replied, "Oh, really? I didn't know that." "Yep, he is. Did you see him? His arms were zooming around the drums, just like when he practices at home in front of the mirror." "Steven, practices in front of a mirror?" "Yeah, it's cool. Right in his underwear. The blue ones, right, Steven?" I sagged against my mom's shoulder and I muttered, "Please kill me, Mom." My dad tried at that point to control the situation, but by now, Jeffrey had drawn a little crowd of my bandmates who were just waiting to see what else he would reveal about the peasant. "My brother's great. Hey, Renee, do you want to hear a joke? What does ICUP spell?" I give up. Close the bathroom door. Get it? I tried to end this torment. "Come on, Jeff. It's time to go for ice cream with Mom and Dad." Just then, Brian chimed in. He had dropped a stick during the "In the Mood," and he may have been annoyed by the big applause after my solo. "Let him finish, peasant." To which Renee and my mom simultaneously turned to me and burst out, "They call you peasant?" Dear reader, are you starting to see a pattern here? Miss Palma gave me an A on the journal entry. She called it a droll. So I guess I actually managed to get some use out of Jeffrey's antics before the chaos of this year started. Looking back on those days now, I'd have eaten the dangerous pie if I could have stopped October from coming. So I've read this book, so I know what comes. But I would suggest getting this for a couple of reasons. One, I did a Jordan Sonnenblick author study with a group of 8th graders for a couple years in a row when I was a reading teacher, and they loved it. He's got a lot of books. This would be a good one to start with. He has a sequel to this called Ever After. And then he's got The Curveball in the Year I Lost My Grip. He's got Falling Over Sideways and a couple of other books, but they're all wonderful. The second reason I like this book is because I'm sure we're all dealing with some annoying family members, right? Not all the time annoying, but definitely those times and those moments when you feel like, they're just driving me crazy. But just like Jeffrey, he doesn't realize what's going to happen. Stephen doesn't realize what's going to happen to Jeffrey. So you got to read it to figure out what does happen and how he deals through a difficult time. Okay, so let me know if you have questions. Email me if you need a copy of the book or you want some ideas of how you can get a copy. They do have it as an ebook at the Watertown Public Library. So I hope you enjoy it. Thank you for joining me. Bye, everybody.